Real estate stories. Okay, this happened about 5 or 6 years ago. I got a listing out in Greeley, Ontario, just a suburb just south of Ottawa. And it was a fantastic little bungalow. We got it on the market, everything, staged the home, got on about a week or so in. We got a great offer, and the offer came in with a home inspection and a finance clause, pretty standard stuff. So the day of the inspection, about an hour into the inspection, I knew the time, I get a call from the buying agent. This is the agent representing the buyer saying, you know what, we love this home, Brian, but it appears that it's absolutely full of mold. We'd like to cancel our offer and move on. And I was like, whoa, I knew this was something that they didn't, that this home was owned by one of the top HVAC, heating ventilation experts in this city. In fact, he taught at Algonquin. This guy was so, I guess, by the book. He had ripped out the entire furnace system, all the ductwork, the AC system, and he had replaced it with oversized top of the equipment that he could, get on the industry. This was his personal home. He had taken the basement all the way to the foundation and rebuilt it. I absolutely believed that their inspector was incorrect because he had told them to run from this house. He wanted to cancel the inspection, which I'd never heard of before, and say, listen, this home is so full of mold. You do not want it. We need to cancel right now. You need to run from this house. It was like, I'd never heard of something like this ever happening in my career. So I offered, because I had a few days left in their condition, I offered that hold off, don't cancel. How about on my expense, we'll bring in the top mold inspector in the city and let's hear what he has to say. And so they agreed. And the day, a couple days later, the mold inspector comes in. He was spent about, half hour, 30 minutes in the house. And he came back and said, this is a fantastic home. This home is one of the driest, unmolded houses I'd ever seen. There's no signs of mold whatsoever. And what the home inspector had pointed out to be mold was some sort of weird carpet glue. And we figured that he was just backed up for the day and wanted to get these people out. Maybe he was behind, an hour or two, and he needed to make it up. And the best way to do that was get these guys out of the house. And so they did not listen to their home inspector, this rock star guy that showed up in a Hummer and pounding his chest like he knew homes better than anybody. They listened to the mold expert and they bought that home. And about 3 or 4 years later, interestingly enough, they hired me to sell it again and help them buy another home. And I'm sure that home is absolutely mold-free today. Now, what I'm suggesting is that in every case, don't disregard, your home inspectors. Most of them are really good. This guy is not. I had found out later that this is a common trick with this guy. And to me, he needs to be drummed out of the industry. This is not someone that we want to set up as an expert, certainly in the field. So often I'll bring in an expert on my expense. I'll bring in a great electrician. I'll bring in a mold inspector, an HVAC guy, a plumber. These guys know homes. That's what they do for a living. They get deep into your homes. And so a generalist in many cases does not know the home like some of these experts. So if there's a question mark, these are options that you can do. And sometimes as the selling agent, and the listing agent, you got to do what you got to do to keep your deals in play. And in some cases, go to battle against some of these inspections. And if it turns out to be true, well, great. Now we know. But if it doesn't, we need to figure out, what really the issue is, or at least put a price to it. Like sometimes I've had home inspectors say that, this electrical work is going to cost like $15,000, $20,000. And it turned out to cost a couple $1,000s. It's not a deal killer. So what's my point? Let's bring in the top inspectors and experts in the field when it comes to doing some of these inspections. Don't always listen to these generalists. Anyways, real estate stories.